Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sideline Shenanigans podcast. Today with Jacob Maggerdan,
Dalton Phillips.
and we are looking at some college basketball. Hoop season is upon us. We have talked about that we're about 3 weeks after the season has started here, kind of getting a feel for who's really good in the country, what big time games have been played, and also, of course, talking about some of the best teams so far. Looking at our AP poll here, this is not really the biggest deal when you talk about, again, like college football. The AP poll doesn't matter a ton. The biggest thing is when you look at quad one, quad two, quad three, quad four, you look at the wins and losses you have at the end of the season will determine who makes the tournament. But really looking at this early, the teams to me that have looked very dominant is Kansas, Gonzaga, Auburn, and then I would point out teams like Tennessee has looked very good. Iowa State has looked solid. I think Kentucky's win over Duke was very impressive. And then, of course, you look towards, obviously me and Dalton both pulling for North Carolina. He also, of course, will stick with that Tennessee fandom. But again, not the biggest college basketball fan. But we're teaching him, we're training him here. He's
Yep.
figuring some things out. Again, you talk about some of these games that have already happened. UConn just dropped a game to a Memphis team that my boys in blue, the UNC Tar Heels, beat before the season started without RJ Davis. We played them in a scrimmage and beat them without RJ Davis. They got out there and beat number two UConn in the Maui Invitational, which is currently going on. Also, to bring up North Carolina playing in the Maui Invitational at a whopping 1 a.m. at the end of the game. They had a 21-point comeback to beat the Dayton Flyers, the second largest comeback in UNC history. One of those games that I was sitting there the entire game wanting to punch a hole through my TV because it was so ugly. But then we finally figured it out, and the second half was beautiful. Come back and won. And then Tennessee, to mention them, utter dominance on the defensive side of the ball. Been one of the better defensive units in the country. And then to me, the two teams that have looked the best would be Kansas. We played them in Fog Allen and lost by three. Speaking of UNC, and then Auburn. I think Auburn has been the second best team in the country. They have one of the best front court players in the country, and Janai Broom. He's really unstoppable. He also just had a huge play in the Maui Invitational, a tip in on an offensive rebound to beat Iowa State, who is also very good right now. This is two of the best defensive teams in the country. But again, you look at these rankings all the way down to the bottom half of this with Creighton, Xavier, Ole Miss, Arizona, Mississippi State, mentioning a lot of SEC schools in here. A&M, Arkansas, Florida, Baylor, Cincinnati, Wisconsin, Indiana, Purdue, North Carolina, Duke, Marquette, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, Houston, Iowa State, Auburn, Gonzaga, UConn, Kansas from 25 to 1. Uh, Again, teaching Dalton some things here. If he has anything you want to bring up about this Tennessee team, and of course he is also a North Carolina fan, if you want to mention anything about them.
Yeah, I'm new to this college basketball. I was always the kind of guy to watch March Madness. I mean, that's the best time of the year,
Yeah,
arguably the best sports event in
yeah, I think it
like
is.
anything. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
because I don't know anybody that tunes in or that doesn't do a bracket.
Yeah.
And I've always been and I've always done stuff like that, but I've never been like too involved in it. And then like 2 years ago, Magger got me involved, took me to a UNC game, and the atmosphere is insane. It kind of adopted me into the UNC culture there.
Yeah.
I uh I became a UNC fan like instantly, and I've always been a Tennessee fan. I'll be a Tennessee fan in everything, hockey. I mean anything. I don't watch hockey, but I'll say I'm a
If
Tennessee
they have a
hockey
hockey
fan.
team.
Yeah, we're I'm a fan in everything Tennessee. Anything orange, I'll watch or not watch. I'll cheer for. I don't watch everything. Uh, but I don't know. I've learned a few things about Tennessee basketball. We're really good on the defensive side of the ball,
Yeah, very dominant.
especially against our game against UVA. I mean, that was a huge win. Chaz Lanier, Zakai Ziegler. Ziegler, I've liked Ziegler for a long time. He's a great basketball player. Knows how to move the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And Igor Milicic. Those are three great ball players there. I like watching all three of them play. And for UNC, RJ Davis is that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's my second favorite player when Baycott was there. I love watching Baycott play, and now that guy he's that role now. I love watching that guy play.
Yeah, I mean RJ is really really great. Coming to the season, there was a lot of polls that talked about who was the top five players in basketball. He was on every one of them. Again, he's been on all the All-American teams. He won the Conference Player of the Year last year. His name will be in the rafters at UNC. Of course, he come back because he said he had a final goal, and that was to win a championship. He dropped 30 points in the Maui Invitational game against Dayton. They play again against Auburn, who is, in my opinion, the second best team in the country. We've already played Kansas, who's the best team in the country. So it's good to play these non-conference games that are very tough. It really will help you out later in the year when it comes to conference play. But on top of that, these games will boost your resume. When it comes to the end of the year, a loss against an Auburn or a Kansas on a neutral site or at Kansas does not hurt you at all. One of those you win, it really boosts your resume a ton. So these are phenomenal games to play early on. And of course, we talked about it. Feast week is awesome. There's so much college basketball going on right now. You could wake up at 10 o'clock and then from 10 till, I mean, UNC played till 1 a.m. last night. And you've got college basketball and a lot of very fun games. All these teams want to win these little tournaments and stuff because again, it's a resume builder when you can win these, neutral court games to get a boost for your resume. Not a whole lot else to say. Again, this is kind of just a starter for us. We will start doing some recaps. The goal will be to do at least one of these a week. We will talk about kind of the biggest matchups of the week. Again, there is a big game on up this night. This is Tuesday, as of right now, when we're recording, and Duke and Kansas play. So that is a massive game. It's in Las Vegas. Obviously, I will be pulling for Kansas, although that is hard to do. I hate Duke more than I hate any team in any sport. I literally hope Duke loses every single game they ever play. So, I hope they lose again tonight. Cannot stand them. Cannot stand them. If you guys want to know, I'll go ahead and give you my least favorite player of all time, Grayson
Grayson
Allen.
Allen.
Yeah, very easily my least favorite player to ever touch a sports field. So yeah, or court, I should say. I very much dislike him. I very much dislike a lot of Dukies. But again, this will be a very fun season. It's been a good start so far. Both of us will be going to a North Carolina game at some point this year. I will pull him into one. He's also
Okay.
trying to convince me to go to a Tennessee game. Don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know why, man. Thompson Bowling is a whole nother place. I mean,
I'll be completely honest with you. I think it won't happen because I don't like Tennessee.
I come on, man. You gotta like the. I like UNC. You gotta like the Vols. Come on.
No, no, don't like the Vols in anything really. Not a big Tennessee fan. But we will definitely get to a North Carolina game and watch them play somebody this year. Obviously, got to catch RJ's final season in college. Of course, other names to mention on this UNC team. Again, this will be more favored towards them. And of course, we'll talk about some other teams. Like I go to Tech, I attend Tech. I still like them. They're my second favorite team. Talk about some players for them. They are in a down spot right now. They've had a lot of issues with players going in and out. And Mike Young, again, I think he's a good coach at Virginia Tech. I just think that the system is not favored to the kind of players he has right now, unfortunately. But again, to mention some guys for UNC, Seth Trimble, Elliot Cadeau, both young guards. Trimble, of course, a little bit older than Cadeau. Cadeau reclassified, should have been in high school still last year and played his freshman year. They've both gotten 10 times better. This is just a completely different team. This is the best backcourt in the country. It's to me not debatable. You have three guys that are all potential All-Americans. That's insane to say. I mean, Trimble right now is averaging 18 a game, shooting 51% from three. He is one of the best defenders in the entire country. So it'll be very fun to see what happens with him. I mean, he could definitely win a Defensive Player of the Year award. And again, I think they all will end up all ACC honors this year. Of course, you look at Duke, they've got Cooper Flagg, very fun player to watch. Again, I don't like the guy because he's there, but he is super fun, and I will recognize the talent is just, it's insane. Can shoot and really dribble the ball like he can, but he's had freshman mistakes this year. And of course, Kentucky, big story with them is Calipari's no longer there. He's down there at Arkansas now, and they've turned it around. I mean, they have changed their system. Mark Pope brought in a bunch of transfers, a bunch of older guys, and this team has meshed really well. They're actually very good, especially shooting the ball. Kobe Brea, one of the best three-point shooters in the entire country. And again, Kansas has Hunter Dickinson, one of the best centers in the country. Very much the guy to look for. Him, RJ, Sears at Alabama, although he struggled a lot to start this season. There's just a lot of talent. This is just going to be a really fun season. And again, don't know if there's anything else you want to add about the season in general. It's up to you right now.
Um, uh, I'm trying to tune in some basketball games today. I know this is a great week to tune in, like you
Mm,
said. Feast week happening.
yeah,
Hopefully I can catch a few games and improve my knowledge a little bit.
yeah,
I'm trying to oversee a little bit more. Like I've picked up doing this podcast in general has
yeah.
educated me in other ways I never would know, and hopefully it educates me on the basketball side of things.
Yeah, and again, I'm a sports media analytics student at Tech, so a lot of what I'm doing here is what I really hope to do at some point in my future. And it's been cool to just like I even that has done a lot of studying with these two sports have learned stuff from doing the college football play. I mean, I just learn players' names, I learn stats, I learn who's important. When I watch a game, I can say, "Oh yeah, I've talked about that guy. I know who that
Yep.
is." Um, and again, same thing for you. I think I also seen a ton of you. You have really learned all these players and whatnot. You were always very smart with football, of course, but you didn't see the players and pay
Yeah,
attention to those guys as much. It's been fun to see both of us just kind of learning the ropes of this. And I think we can do the same with college basketball. Again, I'm pretty knowledgeable in that. It's definitely, I think it's my favorite sport to watch. I really look forward to it every year. It also helps to be a UNC fan because they've had some good teams. And of course, Roy Williams is my GOAT. As you
obviously.
can
I
see,
mean, who? Yeah, he's that guy.
yeah, it must be seen. GOAT on the phone screen there.
Yeah.
GOAT. When he retired, it was one of the saddest days of my life. But but yeah, well, obviously looking forward to this season, and it's going to be a ton of fun. Again, if you guys have any recommendations for how we should film this, how we should do this, leave us comments. We will also look to have on some guests that are maybe even more knowledgeable in basketball. Good buddy that's been on the podcast before. You remember Joey? He's a big college basketball guy. He's kind of got into it anyways. He was always a big NBA guy. Never watched a lot of college
That guy can
basketball.
tell you anything about basketball. He
Yeah,
is ridiculous. He is an encyclopedia, basketball
yeah,
encyclopedia.
very good with basketball.
He
And
knows everything.
also have my cousin is very big into basketball. We might get him on here at some point. So it's just got a lot of potential for this. But again, if you guys have any recommendations, let us know. This is how we're going to wrap up this one. Just a simple talk to start it. Talk about the top 25 teams. Talk about some big tournaments like the Maui Invitational. Just wrapping everything up here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us again. These will be shorter, so look for if you want to look for some more short content, we'll have college basketball again, just recaps and reviews and big time games, of course. And if we see any crazy cool court stormings, we might have to mention them as well.
Maybe a basketball goal getting torn down. Does that happen in this sport?
I don't think so. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for joining us and peace.
Peace.